Happy New Year. Wow, we made it. We made it. We made it. It's 2026. My name is Nomi Superstar, and welcome to What You Like. I want to start today by saying South Africa is a developing country. So, anything I say, guys, South Africa is a developing country. And as you know, when you have a developing story, you know, when you're watching the news and then they say developing story, it means that there's still more information that's going to come. So, this podcast is meant to be light, meant to be fun, meant to be informative. And as you can see, I'm having a little bit of a developing technology here where I've got a screen that's just frozen, but it does not mean that we are not going to move forward. So, as I'm waiting for my screen to organize itself, I just want to say that everything that I say in this podcast is meant to be light. People are not supposed to take offensive, man. You understand? Cila ningabi offended. Nah? We are not gonna be offended. No. I'm just reflecting. I'm just reflecting. I'm going through what has happened in the country and I'm reflecting on what has been our collective experience as South Africans. So, for those of you who are watching and who have my WhatsApp number, please do WhatsApp me to let me know if you're getting this audio because I'm not sure if you are. And let's just start with, the podcast. So, this podcast is going to be this week. It's a 6-part podcast, and we are going to be having 6 episodes, one every week. And it's, as you know, it's the podcast that is going with the release of my next single. So this podcast is for my next single, and it's going into the lyrics of my next single, which is called What You Like. The single itself is only coming out in 6 weeks time as well. When we do the final episode is when we will get the single on the DSPs so that you guys can stream it and listen to it, as well as it playing on radio. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 weeks. And let's get this show on the road. Let's see now if we are responsive. Guys, I'm still not responsive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the studio, but I'm going to come back. Actually, and then we take it from there. Okay, right. It's looking like we're getting things going right now. Okay, great. Woo! Thank you, Lord, for making this possible. So, I've given you, I hope you got the rundown. I'm just going to summarize it for you. 6-part series. We're going to run for 6 weeks. Today is day one of the 6 weeks. It's the first episode. And then we're going to have 5 more episodes, and the song is going to drop on the last day of the last podcast. That's number one. Number two, we are a developing country. No one must take anything offensively. Please don't be offended. It's not necessary. And then, and then yes, and but for we are developing country, and guys, you know, it's a wonderful thing to be a developing country. Let me tell you, because when you're a developing country, you know that there are things about you. You know that you are fixing. When things happen, there's commissions, there's inquiries, and everybody's coming to the table like, what went wrong? And then we are discovering what went wrong. There are countries. It's very nice to be called a developing country, guys. Don't ever be thinking that you are less than because you're developing. No. Right now, you are either developing, let me tell you, or you are declining. Right now, there's a world superpower that's in a very serious decline. Yo, Gosiam. They've got a geriatric Pinocchio that is in charge of everything. Somebody keeps telling lies, and right now he's so desperate to start a war. He's trying to start fights with everybody because that's what runs that economy. Wars. When there's wars, they are doing very well. And I think right now the whole world is like, but do we need wars? So let's kick into the document that was written last night, a mere year ago. Guys, last night, Bekshama cricket, like, they were shooting. It was just, New Year's is always in South Africa, just, it's a lit time. I spent it in bed with my children. Me, I want to be in my home, in my bed with I want to know that all of the necessary parts are here in the vicinity where I can see them. Because New Year's is a crazy time. But last year, on New Year's Day, the honorable member was penning a directive. And this directive, guys, is the entire reason we had Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi going on TV. This is a directive from the minister. Now, I'm only going to talk to this part of the directive because this is the part of the directive. This was a letter that was written, penned by the minister last night, a year ago. Last night, during the crickets. So the directive reads, in 2019, a directive was made to the National Commissioner of Police following the Moerane Commission, even though not flowing directly from such that an interministerial task force be established. The key mandate was to stop, investigate, resolve unresolved murders of politicians in the country, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. My observation, this is the minister now, my observation in this regard, as indicated above, is that further existence of this team is no longer required, nor is it adding any value to policing in South Africa. Bold. That was a bold statement, Minister. I therefore direct that the Political Killings Task Team be disestablished immediately. Further, that a preliminary report in this regard be submitted to the Minister by the 20th of January 2025. The final and closing report must be submitted to the Ministry Management Executive Committee meeting late January 2025, the date of which will be communicated as soon as possible. This is bold. This is bold. Bold by the minister. First and foremost, let's pick up what the minister says. So at the beginning, he says the key mandate was to stop, investigate, and resolve unresolved murders. Unresolved is a very important word here, guys, because it's saying that these are matters that are already before us. These are not matters that are gonna be new, that we are gonna discover. It's that there was already dockets of these unresolved murders. So, on the face of it, unresolved murders. And if we were to say that the team is no longer required, full stop, he could have been able to say, because those unresolved murders, let's say it was 20 dockets of unresolved murders, those unresolved murders are not resolved. So that those 20 dockets need to be attended to. And if they've been attended to, then we've got no problem. We've got no problems. Those 20 dockets, they've been solved. It's no longer required. But it was the fireworks. You know, the 31st of December in South Africa, it's never a day for you or anybody to do anything that by any way, shape, or form is going to be consequential to your life. Because the 31st of January, of December, I mean, is one of those days whereby I like to look at it as it's like a silly season. It's where those days when people are gonna do things that are just, you just like, what do you mean? What did you do? Yeah, well, because what did you mean? What did you do? This is the part of it whereby, Minister, you did not. This is the December 31 part of your sentence. The December 31 part of the sentence starts at, nor is it adding any value to policing in South Africa. No, Minister. No, Minister. No, Minister. So this is very bold statement, because the minister is saying in this writing, what the minister is saying here is that there was a task team that was formed by interministerial committee to resolve unresolved murders. This task team has now finished doing its job, but then he says, and it's no longer adding any value. But then he says, this task team must be disbanded it must be disestablished, which means it mustn't be there anymore. By the end of January, he's giving it 30 days. Now, this is when we must go into ministers' fitness to hold such an office. Because ministers, this email of minister, this directive, just this directive is, for me, enough for us to now go into a review of, Minister, are you fit to hold office? Let's talk about this task team. And let's talk about the Ministry of Police. The Ministry of Police, Makaban, has got 179,500 employees. That's the official reporting. When you look at some of the parliamentary reports, they even have this number at 254,000. That's 250,000 people. That is a very big company. That's a massive, massive company. This is a company with many departments and units and task teams. It's huge. And what I know about organizational development is that in such big organizations, for us to change something, you know, when they say they're going to hire a transformation officer or head of transformation at your company, they actually need to get consultants to come and transform you, because let's say you're a call center and they want to change the way the call center operates. They want to make you more nice. They realize that in debt collecting, if you are understanding and you're nice, you actually get more money back. So now we have to do a training with all the call center agents to implement this new system. That's just one smaller Nyana call center agent with less than 1,000 people working there. Guys, that exercise will take a very long time. It'll take a very, very long time. It will not take 1 month. This minister is a minister to a ministry that has 250,000 employees, and he wants something to be disestablished, something to not exist anymore. And he's given it a month. That says to me, you don't know what you're doing. Number two, let's look at this task team. And the bull, I've made the task team a bull, guys. Because it's either Inkunzi Mnyama that's getting things done, or it's a rogue bull. It's a rogue bull. It's something whereby people were not doing the right things, and then the minister said, this thing is not working the way it was supposed to be working. I don't want it to be there anymore. Sharp minister. Let's talk about the PKTT. The PKTT was spending, by the time now we are reviewing the entire spend of the team, it was 435 million over 7 years. So what I did is I divided that by 7, which gives you around about 62 million per year for this task team. Guys, the annual budget for task teams, I'm not talking about the complete annual budget for the Department of Police, for the Ministry of Police. I am not talking about the whole budget. I'm only talking about the tactical teams, because there's lots of tactical units in the police. For all the tactical teams per year, the budget is 5.8 billion, which means the political killings task team on a very, very good day is utilizing 1% of the annual budget. 1%. 1%. And it's in my thing, you can see the budget is over X, because this is not a budget of the entire ministry. It's a budget of just tactical teams. It's a fraction of a fraction. So when you take the political task teams, political killings task team, overall of the entire police budget, it's much less than even 1%. It's 1% of 1%. So it makes me question, are you fit for office? When you say this thing must be disbanded now, and you are saving less than 1% of the entire budget. I'm asking myself questions. Then I said, no, let's just do a deep dive into Minister. Minister, where have you been? Because we are talking about a career minister. And guys, I chose a nice picture of Minister Mchunu, because this is not personal, guys. It mustn't be a personal attack. It's professional. Ubaba Mchunu une family, guys. Unomfazi wakhe, unengane zakhe. Ubaba Mchunu, let's not paint him like Ubaba Mchunu was out to do no good. Asazi. Godwa manje, we are looking at the facts on the ground, on the table. Ubaba Mchunu uphuma a Ministry of Public Service and Administration. Before, the first ministerial role bekanayo. During that time, uMinister aphethe laphaya. Bekunama July unrest. Minister. When you were Minister of Public Service and Administration, the entire country decided you know what? We are going to do what the government is doing every day. We are going to loot. We are going to do a public service a delivery strike. That's going to be nationwide. That's going to be devastating. That's when you are minister. Then from there, minister moved to the Department of Water and Sanitation. Minister asinamanzi. Minister asinamanzi, minister. It used to be called a drought. Now it's called a crisis. Minister. Guys, I'm not saying that this is the minister's entire track record. I'm saying what we know you for. What we know you for, minister. Now he's at the Department of Police. He's the Minister of Police. And in the first 6 months of his job, because he started in 2024, June, July, and in 2024, on the 31st of December, he writes this directive. At this time, guys, Minister has not even finished doing his orientation. He has not been to some provinces. He even said it there in the parliamentary session that he had not been to Northern Cape, and he had not been to another province. Minister, you are not finished orientation. But Minister, you are writing the very bold directive. And one of that sentence where I said there's a sentence, guys. There's a sentence that's giving December 31, whereby you add things that are not necessary, whereby you drink the drink you are not supposed to drink, whereby you have the tequila when you were already drinking too much, whereby you decide to do things you never did in your life. That's the energy of 31 December. That is the energy of 31 December, Minister. Then your extra tequila sentence here was, the team is not adding any value to policing in South Africa. That was the line, Minister. That was the line. So let's ask ourselves about not adding value. Because I am of the view that if this task team was there to close dockets that were already open, we need to know how many dockets were there at the time. But what we know of the PKTT is that to date, they've had 436 dockets, of which they have 126 convictions. That gives them a conviction rate of 29%. Nationally speaking, the murder detection rate, this is the rate at which cases are open. It's not that they will be solved, but that it's detected, dockets are open, it's investigated, all of that happens. And that there's an outcome. What has been solved? It's 11.33% in your police ministry. On the face of it, Minister, this political clean task team is performing. They are closing serious cases. They are doing what the ministry is struggling to do, but they are doing it. So basically, what I'm saying, guys, is that the minister was quite bold. He was very bold, and his boldness is making us question your fitness to hold such an office. Because, Minister, when you start in a department, Minister, you want to get a lay of the land. You are going to be minister for 5 years. You want to get a lay of the land. What's going on here? You testified yourself that this is going to take you a period of time. So you've already started going to different provinces. And you are learning things about the different provinces. And as you are learning things about the provinces, People are sending you emails. Minister, we are not saying that the first year of a ministry is not a difficult time. It's a very difficult time because people have expectations. In a first year, in such a role, guys, when you have a management position and you go into a role in the first year, what you're looking out for are quick wins. That's what you're looking for. You say, what's working here that I can polish? And then we get the communications team on the polishing of this thing that's working. Because in your first year, you want some good stories to go out there. You want people to see, you want to appear to be working. Minister, this was the time to report about the cadets that are going to training and how many people are coming on the streets and yay, the cars that are being repaired and the mechanics that you are developing to repair the police cars. Because you are solving. Hey, Minister, this is the time for that. It's the time for that, Minister. It's the time for the quick wins. When you come across something, Minister, where you don't know what it is, you say to yourself, okay, this thing, I'm opening a folder for it, PKTT. I've gotten emails, I've gotten concerns about things. Are any of these things whereby I need to have cases opened immediately? I need to support people to do that. Yes, if there's so much such things, there are people to do that. You set it in motion. You say, Commissioner, I love the PKTT. I see they are performing. This is all that's happening. That's great. But Commissioner, I've got some concerns because of this, but I don't want you to go and speak to anybody about my concerns. I want me and you to start looking at these concerns, because one thing we are all going to accept is that we're going to have to learn to work with each other. This thing of factions that comes into government departments, no, it cannot be. It cannot be. You can fight amongst yourselves in your political parties, but when you get into public office, you are public servants. You are not in the what faction, and a minister cannot entertain that. You can't entertain it, Minister. Minister, you're supposed to call your commissioner and say, I've got these concerns, Commissioner. Can we keep talking about it? And then we call in the resources that we are going to need. If there's things where people are saying, I was raped or this or anything that's hectic, Isan. I said that word that I didn't have to say. I don't want to be shadow banned. So, Minister, you are supposed to do that and have a folder in your computer called PKTT where you are dealing with it. Now, the minister is also having a chief of staff. Now, your chief of staff is somebody that you trust, that is also capable of the job. Minister, you hired somebody that's not capable and not fit for the purpose. The person you hired does not have the experience that you require. As a minister, you are supposed to say, for my chief of staff, I need somebody who is well-versed in police. My chief of staff is somebody who knows this in and out. My chief of staff is somebody who knows this ministry in their sleep. Minister, that was not your chief of staff. Stop this thing where it says the qualification is a master's degree and then you hire people just because they have a master's degree. Just because you have the qualification does not mean you are qualified for the position. All right, Minister. So, Minister, you did not have a chief of staff that could help you in any way, shape, or form to do the work that needed to be done in the political killings task team. You just didn't have the right person, and that's why you thought that the political killings task team was a chicken. And if you hired the right person, somebody would have told you, no, this is a bull. Because, Minister, in your field, in your level of work as a minister, you don't deal with chickens. There's no chickens, Minister, in anything that you do. Everything that you do is bulls. 250,000 employees. A unit is a bull. It's a bull. Whether in Kunzemnyama or it's a rogue bull, we are going to know in the future. But it was a bull. Minister Wena, You thought you were catching chickens. Why understand? And so the way you approached, I want this letter of yours. It was giving this approach.
Wild chickens. Wild chickens. Very delicious. Come to me. Come to me. So I can catch you. So that I could give it to them.
What I mean is, when I was you thought you were gonna catch the PKTT like this, Minister. That's what you thought, Minister.
Yum yum. From dilly yum. What's very interesting about the wild chicken is they would eat their own.
Thank you to the wonderful people at Radio Mzansi for this clip. I just love it so much. Yo, it's so funny. Minister, that's what you thought you were doing. You thought you were catching a young chicken. And you thought you were going to have a nice meal of PKTT. Case closed. I've done the thing. Minister, I'm just baffled as to why would you do this in your 6 months? Even if it was a chicken that you could catch, which is impossible in the Minister of Police. Even if this was the case, why? What's the benefit? Because they are performing. And you come at them like that, you can only eat them. You can never use them, build them, use them as your resource to teach other teams how to do this thing that they did so well. You can't call them into a workshop whereby they show you and they tell you, Minister, this is what we are not good at. You can't have discussions with your commissioner whereby you get the low side and the upside of a task team of this nature. Because as much as they were doing amazing work, of course, there were things that they were not doing wrong. We're not perfect. We're not perfect, Minister. But when you approach them in this manner, it's not going to be good. But you are not dealing with a chicken, Minister. You are dealing with a bull. Minister, I just want to brief you. Minister, a bull, Minister. A bull, Minister, it needs a big team. A bull needs a very big team, Minister. Big team. And Minister, you wonder how many people are here? Spanning. And the bull, look at how the bull is entering. Aganandaba, agana stressy. Like lomundo relaxed. Relaxed. Now let team yako. Agana stress ngayo. You understand? Minister, this catching of this bull, it's a video from internet. This bull, it took a long time to catch. It was an event. And this guy was the main attraction. And there was an audience to watch. And the guys, they would come. The team, technical team, they were running and chasing the bull. The bull would chase them. They were trying to tire the bull. Minister, you needed a strategy to undo PKTT. You didn't think about it, Minister. You didn't think about it. Minister, you thought yourself, Uguti, you were just going to have the political Tillings task team and everything was just going to be Mtororo. And it was not Mtororo. Because why I'm showing you the bull is because it needed a strategy. There needed to be many people involved. You said in your parliamentary sessions, you called some people, you had your advisors, you had your unqualified chief of staff, and then what you didn't want to, things were too sensitive for the commissioner. No, Minister. Why is there commissioner of police? I think the commissioner is qualified for that position. He's supposed to qualify to know those things. So, in a nutshell, guys, this is what led us to Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi coming on our TV screens with that press conference, and it's why we have the Madlanga Commission. And I love, and the reason I'm doing this in this way is because I want us to really understand the context of the lyrics of What You Like. Because What You Like, the song, is saying, but this is what you like. This is what you keep supporting. This is what you keep voting for. This is what you like. Surely this is what you like. Because we're voting for a political party and political parties that will put people into office who are not fit for office. And this is not uniquely to the ANC. In the commission and the subsequent parliamentary hearings, even the Democratic Alliance, putting people in parliament who do not know what to do with top secret information, and yet they are in parliament, and they're sitting in parliament. Now the guys in parliament are a little bit luckier because they are there as the voices of the people. So the people are those people. It shows that even us as a country, we are not thinking about these things when we're voting, because when we are voting and those top names on the list that get into going to parliament and going to serve us as councillors, we need to be inquisitive about, if I am part of this political party, is the person who is in those top positions the one who's the best at campaigning, or is it the person who's going to know what to do when they get there? Because that's the problem. The people who are on those lists are the people that are very good at campaigning. It's not necessarily the people that are going to be very good at fulfilling those positions. And that's the people that we need. We need the people that are going to be able to fulfill those positions. So in July, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi comes on all of our TV screens, and he is the reason why we are having this incredible opportunity to reflect as a nation. Now, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi comes onto the scene. We're watching him on TV, and on TV, he says a couple of things. And I'm going to go through the couple of things that he talks us through when he is there on TV. And and also what the commission has summarized. The commission has summarized what are they there for. And so we're going to go through these things one by one so that we can understand what was actually going on. So the first thing that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says, that he speaks to in terms of what's happening, what's been happening in the police, and what are the big problems that they are facing in the police. The first thing he says is that they have this problem whereby political interference in criminal justice. And this is true. There is a lot of political interference in criminal justice in South Africa. And the political interference in justice in South Africa, and I'm just so sorry that that video doesn't play. I'm going to update and upgrade my streaming provider, because this one, you are not giving me joy. You are not giving me joy. So I'm going to talk to what are the issues that were raised by Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and we're going to dissect them very quickly. Just a shout out to the dissection. I love the dissection. I watch it all the time. And that's somewhere you can go day to day to get the info that you need. So let's go through what this thing, they said there's political interference in the criminal justice system. And this is true. And there was so much political interference in the justice system that it made me question even the president calling for this commission, because when we were watching the commission, when Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was speaking, he spoke about a mine, a Rio Tinto mine, whereby the presidency called for the police to be the personal police of that mine, RBM mine. And I went and I looked into this mine to find out why would there be special police for that mine. And the ownership of that mine is different consortiums and obviously pension funds. It's institutional investors. There's no one owner of the mine like people we can point to. It's institutional investors that own this mine. And there's also some Black economic vehicles and consortiums that own the mine. And then there's also the local communities around the mine. So when you look at the BE status of this mine, it's not about the fact that the local community owns it. They don't really own the mine. They have some ownership, but the Black stake is also made up of Black people that are some of them we call them Black diamonds, some of them we call them Amapi, some of them, but it's those people whereby they are representing the Black ownership. So that's why when you hear about this RBM mine, you hear about the local communities saying they're not benefiting from the mine, because in their minds, when when the mine says we are 25% Black owned, or they say we are such and such percent Black owned, in the community it sounds like 25% is owned by the community. So when they see the mine making billions, they're expecting some billions to be utilized in their communities. But that is not happening, because actually the pie that would make up the billions, it's also owned by some BEs, some Black economic empowerment, some consortiums, the people that we see in the Range Rovers and all those expensive cars, the slay queens. You know, guys, South Africa cannot afford the amount of Range Rovers and the amount of the dealerships of the what do they call them, luxury cars. These dealerships are everywhere. You find them even in dorpies. Luxury vehicle dealerships, you see them all over the country. You don't just see them in the big metros. They are everywhere, in the small dorpies, everywhere around the country. And South Africa does not have the GDP per capita to support what we see on the streets, which is testament to our huge income inequality gap. They call it a Gini coefficient in economics, whereby there is a big gap between the rich and the poor. And in South Africa, the way our policies are structured and the way they are being utilized, it's not only the policy that's the problem, it's also how the policy is being executed. You can eat your cake, have your cake and eat it. But there's different ways you can eat it. There's people, abayita, I wouldn't have any man. Like on. Yes, we're not saying you mustn't have your cake and eat it, but the way you're eating this, the way you're eating the cake, it's very rogue. It's very much rogue. It's very Lavinist. Yabo? Because it says that you don't have the understanding of the South African project and what it is that we're building in the South African project and what it is that we're doing and what is the dream of what do we want to see ourselves as a country, where do we want to see ourselves going. You know, you don't have to buy a Lamborghini because you've got Lamborghini money. No, it means do something that is as impactful as the looks you get when you're driving on Camps Bay Drive. Or what are those looks that you are searching for? Get those looks from doing something with your money that will get you those looks, but not in such an easy way as just buying a simple Lamborghini or buying 5 Lamborghinis that are the same color. There are 5 of them. So there's too much political interference. I mean, this mine had their own personal police force. For me, it's giving Marikana, guys. It's giving Marikana. That's why I can't understand why I can't understand how come the report is only sitting with the president, because the president, Cupcake, you're the one who wrote concomitant action, contaminant action, concomitant action. You're the one who wrote it, President. And that was the email that did make people feel brave to go and do Marikana. So when Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was speaking about a political interference, it's there, we know. And that RPM story that he gave as a reference, it's giving Marikana, Mr. President. It's giving Marikana cupcake. And we're supposed to have moved beyond a place where we don't have such things anymore. There's no way a private company can have their own private police. No. The police are public. You want to have private police? You go and you hire a private security company, but not the police doing that job. Number two, he said the disbandment of the political killings task team. Nobody understands why this task team was disbanded. And we don't understand, Mr. President. And as we go through with the show and the series and the episodes, we're really going to be able to talk about was it necessary? Because for me, where I'm sitting, Minister, you had just gotten the job. You understand? You had just gotten into the job, Minister. You are not even 6 months into your position. You have not finished orientation, and that you are doing things that are bold. You're doing very bold things, Minister. And Minister, you don't know the facts on the table of what is the political killings task team doing? How are they performing? There's other reports that you are now bringing to our attention, other plans that were saying the political killings task team is going to become national, and it's going to be something that is actually permanent so that they can get budget and be supported in the work that they are doing. So this is in the plan. This team is your trainers. It's your team that's going to go out there and do this thing of nationalizing this very effective team. But now you've taken that resource and you've turned them against you. These people will never want to go and train other people. These people will never want to advise you, Minister, to say, no, these are the challenges that we faced. No, don't give us this thing. Don't give us this strength. Don't do that, because it's a problem for us in our doing of our work. They will not be able to tell you how they are winning and how they are losing because they can't trust you. The third thing that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi raised, and this is the third thing that is being spoken about through the commission, is the illegal removal and transfer of the case dockets. Why were the case dockets moved? That was criminal. Where I'm sitting, that was criminal. Why are you moving dockets? What's the point of moving dockets? Why is the dockets the first thing that you do? Because when you are replacing the political killings task team, and when you are changing the political killings task team, what you are going to do is that you are winding down. This team is winding down. These people are sitting with the dockets, and they are supposed to be saying, this is where the docket is sitting. They're giving you summaries. Those dockets was the very last step in the handover process, in the disbandment of the PKTT. And even though 30 days, 1 month is not enough time to unravel something that's been running for 7 years. But if now you are forcing the dockets, is what it's on day 7, Minister, you would have walked into the room and people would have said, Minister, we want to tell you about the cases, where they are, what's happening, and then they hand over this. Now it's disbanded on the last day, because you said it's not immediate. So if your immediate meant within 30 days, why are the dockets moving? That's got nothing to do with the disbandment of the political killings task team. That's got everything to do with the next step after you've disbanded. So the removal of dockets was very peculiar. It was not part of that process at all. Then, Makaban, they also raised another point of there's criminal syndicates infiltrating the law enforcement, definitely. And there's criminal syndicates infiltrating the law enforcement, not because of PKTD, but because of factions. That's why criminals can come into law enforcement. Because what happens when you are infiltrating scammers? Because in South Africa, we are dealing with scammers. The biggest crime in South Africa is the scam crime. We've got scammers. Scammers know what to do. They paint a picture for you because they need you to do things for them that are going to enable the criminality. And scammers need a gap, and the gap is distrust. When you can't trust each other. Number one, the factions that are coming from the political parties, the teams that are political party oriented. You're in the public service. The minute you get into the public service, you no longer have a political party. Number two, it's corruption. We were listening to this commission, and we had witnesses that were hidden, and those witnesses were coming to talk about that they would go to senior officials that they reported to, and their senior officials would be telling them there will be 3 envelopes. 1 envelope for this person, 1 envelope for that person, 1 envelope for that person. Criminality can sneak in, because when you start acting criminal, criminality can sneak in. That's got nothing to do with PKTT. The other thing is there's collision between politicians, business interests, and SAP's leadership. It's when you have people that are not qualified for the positions in government working in government. When we listen to Julius Mkhwanazi and we listen to Imogen Mashazi, oh, sorry guys, I have kids. So I need you to understand I have kids, and they know I'm in my podcast, but now they're having their own little fight. But let me just attend to them. And while I attend to them, I'm just going to have a short intermission so that we can continue the podcast. But while we are there, I'm just going to play you a little snippet of the song just so that you can enjoy the song while I just figure out with my cousin something just around my kids.
How are you so surprised?
Yeah, sure.
This is
Yes, my
what you
baby.
like.
You want to take my iPad?
Okay, go to the room. They're not going to take your iPad. Auntie Ziggy, don't take Embo's iPad, please. Yeah, sorry, Billy. Sorry, don't do that. Yes, that's very cute. I'm in the podcast. I'm actually in the podcast right now. Go. I don't want people to see you. I don't want people to know you at all. All right. Hey guys, I'm a mom, and it's good that they came here because I am a mom. They're going to be here. It's a reality of life. So these are the challenges that the police are facing. Now, we're talking about interference of business people. Now, in the testimonies that we've heard and that we are still going to hear, you can hear how people are not qualified for their positions in the way that they speak. Julius Mkhwanazi was not in a position where he was responsible for strategic partnerships, number one. That was not his role. His role, he has KPIs and things that he needs to do. Imogen Mashazi, who also came and spoke, who was the city manager of Ekurhuleni, did not understand the role of city manager. In the law of South Africa, guys, it says that there will be equal representation of women and men. You don't have to do any special programs to empower women. There is a key performance indicator. And now that we know that this StreamYard of the way that we're streaming, it works very nicely with pictures. So we won't do videos, we'll do pictures. There is a key performance indicator. When you are a public service, you get a balanced scorecard. Next week, we're going to look at that. Get a balanced scorecard. And there are things that you have to do in your task. And one of those KPIs, key performance indicator, would have to do around representation of women. So it would mean that in your skills development plans, if you don't have women in positions, the question would be, why are women in lower positions not being promoted to those other positions? Imogen Mashazi did not need to create any new program. On a higher level, you know how they like to say high level, on a high level, that decision has been taken. It's like, for me, I will never come out and speak about how I'm an Africanist and that and be very racial around what to an African, who's a South African, who's not a South African. Because I have agreed to South Africa. I'm a South African. I've agreed to this construct called South Africa. And my agreement to this construct means that when Mandela said South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and we are all South Africans, that's what it means. And I'm part of that project. I'm part of that freedom project. I bought into it. And when I watch the young people as they're coming up and you see them on the TikTok, and there's TikToks where people say, I really didn't expect to see, they'll say a white person. Because, guys, 30 years ago, when Nelson Mandela said, South Africa belongs to all who live in it, we became something called South African, which means that inevitably so, broken English would become a kind of English that is spoken by South Africans. Because we are South Africans. And there is now a day that's dawning whereby you see white people in positions that used to be commonly known to be only done by black people. Because no, we are not white and black anymore. We're South Africans. And the white and black generation, it's dying out. It's part of life. Nelson Mandela, he knew that it's a part of life. That the racists will age out of the program. You know how you age out of being youth? I'm not youth anymore. When there's job things that come out, or there's opportunities that say you must be youth, I can't participate. The minute we started the new South Africa, we knew that one day racists won't be able to participate. There was a day when I was at I was at the filling station, and somebody decided to be racist. They decided to happen racism upon me. And I was confused. Because I was in a modern garage. I was in modern day South Africa. And we were in a modern situation. And I knew that everybody who works at this garage is also just as surprised as I am. What is happening here? And I said to the racist, I believe you are being outdated. That was my language. I said, you are outdated, my love. You are outdated. And everybody in the garage started to laugh. And then this person wanted to get treated and dealt with first in the transaction at the garage. And it was not a possibility for that person. Because all of us, we remembered what Mandela said to us in that garage. And we said, you are outdated. This thing, it's expired on the shelf called South Africa. It's expired goods. So we are not going to eat this thing you are serving. And until you start to serve something that's edible, we will just not acknowledge your presence because you don't exist. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm just saying that we are living in a new South Africa. And there's laws. And when you are a public servant, you are ticking boxes. That's what you are doing in your job. Yes, we would love you to do more. We would love you to tick the box with flair. We would love you to tick the box with creativity, with innovation. But don't untick the box when you're saying to us you are ticking the box. No. Imogen Mashazi was lying to South Africa when she was saying there was no women representation. This is a man-owned what. Hey, we had all the discussions for that already. We had all those workshops already, Imogen. You were not there at the workshops, but there were workshops. And then there were policies that were written into law in South Africa that makes it unlawful to continue hiring men where you do not have the representation of women. And it is unlawful for you to not do what is given to you as your power as a city manager to enable the employment of women. You were re-abusing those women. That's what Imogen Mashazi was doing. She should be taken to court with the men. Not that the men must be held to account with the men. She was perpetuating a system of abuse in government because she was acting like, I don't know about the qualifications and I don't know about taking people to university. I don't know about taking people to the extra trainings. I don't know about that. There's a Department of Government Schooling, another nonsense department that's being created to ensure that you are capacitated with the information you need to make sure that your staff are empowered into positions, because we are a developing country. And not everybody is going to have the skills that we need for the future. But we have the resources to make the skills we need for the future. Imogen Mashazi, in the years that she was city manager, she pressed pause on the clock of Ekurhuleni in terms of development. That's what she did. That's what happens when you hire people that are not qualified for the positions. You press pause, because if she knew the job, she would have done the job. And she would have opened the cases. And she would have protected the women. And she would have only told the women about, hey, man, do you know that as an employee of the state, as of government, these are the resources that are available to you. This is what you can do. Hey, did you know that you can apply to go to university and government will pay for you and continue paying your salary while you are there? These are the things that the South Africans are paying for. But Imogen Mashazi, the girlie with the expensive earrings, she was there to press pause on development. Why? Because she was probably appointed because she's politically connected. Because she's not qualified for the job. There's many of us guys who are qualified for this work. I don't want to make it a personal thing about me. I bump into a lot of women, highly qualified, who are not in positions. People who know how to work in a framework. People that know that when I go to the office, there's a balanced scorecard and there's all my key performance areas, and I need to tick these boxes. So there is a lot of incapacity, people that are not qualified for positions that they are holding. And then they end up there's collision between business and crime and self-leadership and politicians, because you don't have the right people in the positions. If I was in Julius Mkwanazi's position and Katsiso Molefe came to me and said, why don't we do a collaboration where we support you in this way, because I see you have this problem, I would have said, that's a great idea, but I know that they deal with strategic partnerships at that level. What I'm going to do at the management meeting, I'm going to submit your proposal. But this matter, it's something that is agreed upon at a strategic level. And the only strategy I am responsible for in my department is tactical strategy. How to make the police be great at what they're doing. And with the resources that they've got. It's not about getting resources from public sector. No. That's not my job. So, there's political and institutional corruption beyond the PKTT, definitely. Then there was broader public and institutional reaction, which was our reaction. We now are in a process whereby it's almost like a performance review of South Africa. That's what we are in right now. We are in a performance review of South Africa. And in the performance review of South Africa, one of the key things that we've identified is that we are appointing people into positions that are not qualified to hold those positions. And when we ask that, when we make that realization, we've got to say, what is wrong with our description of qualified? Now, because when you are a professional, you remove suspicion. We are not saying that people are putting in their friends. No. We want to understand what is it in our job description that enables us to employ the wrong people. And we do an analysis. What is it in our hiring process that enables us to hire the wrong people? Because once you go through that process of understanding what is it in our hiring process that makes us hire people that are not fit for the job, you start to do an analysis and an understanding of the problems with the hiring system of government. Number one, I worked in government for 5 years. I don't know if I'm the best or nicest person or likable person, but what I know is that I performed in my position. I performed. I ticked every box with flair. And the evidence speaks for itself. I don't have to tell you. If you say you want to know, well, how come I can say that? I will take you to documented evidence of my overperformance. And I am somebody who loves working for people. That's my calling. It's my calling in life. That's my purpose in life. And yet, when my contract ended at the Soweto Theatre, I did not get a job in the city of Johannesburg. I did not get a job in the National Arts Council. I did not get a job in the community development department. I'm a skill. I'm a woman. I'm a performer. I'm gold. I'm gold. Why is the government of South Africa not mining me? And I'm not alone. It's Mariki. Guys, I sit with gold all the time. I sit with a lot of gold all the time. Why are you not mining us? Because it cannot be that I have a bad attitude. Mr. Mkhunu, at no point did I speak about the fact that Mr. Mkhunu walked on stage at the parliamentary session as if he knows everything. Just because you can speak English doesn't mean that you know everything. No, we must move away from that mentality. It doesn't mean you're clever. No. So, I didn't quarrel Minister about that. Because Minister, even the way you wrote that email, the language, Minister, it's giving, I know everything. And you don't, Minister, you don't. Minister, your track record is not speaking on your behalf. It's not, guys, I'm not being shady. I'm just talking about facts as I see them. So what you like is a song about, is this is what you like. And this podcast is for every single South African and anybody who finds themselves in a government setup whereby it's not giving delivery. It's not giving what you were looking for. This you are not eating the fruits of freedom. They fall off the tree, they hit your head, you get concussed, and then somebody comes and picks it up and eats. There are those who just come and eat the fruits. Hey! But they don't wait or they don't work for them. They don't clear the grass under the tree. Yeah? But they come to eat. They come to eat. Yeah, the fruits of freedom. So the song is really about, the lyrics. And now I'm going to play it as our outro. In the song, it's really about listening to the lyrics, right? And the lyrics will give you why this podcast. This podcast is really just about, is this really what you like? Is this really what you like, South Africa? Is this really what you're here for, South Africa? Is this what you chose? Because I think you need to refuse your manner of choosing. I think you need to reflect on your manner of choosing. My name is Nomi Superstar. Thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of What You Like. We had a few technical difficulties, but we definitely, I feel we showed up and listened to the lyrics of What You Like. And next week, we will be going into the people that Lamkwanazi named and shamed. And we are not victimizing people here. As I said, I picked a very nice picture of Mr. Mkhunu. Mr. Mkhunu, we respect you, Baba. We are talking about your performance in the office. And even a person that I respect, I think a person, I can only respect a person who can respect honesty. Here we are about honesty. And we need to start speaking the truth about what we want as South Africans. Because this is not what I want.
Wanna be